What's going on, guys? Ben Runyan here for AudioSkills.com. Today we're going to be learning about vocal production in popular music. And to do that, I'm going to use one of my songs from my City Rain project, Wasted. I had the pleasure of waking up last Monday morning, and Spotify had added it to a Fresh Finds Hiptronics playlist, which made me very excited. So I've got a bunch of views coming in for it, or listens rather, right now. So in that spirit, don't forget to like, subscribe to Audio Skills YouTube so you can keep updated on this new video series that we got going where I'm sharing my production techniques. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And AudioSkills.com is your source for everything good. I'm Ben Runyan. BenRunyan.com is my link. Let's get started. So this track is called Wasted. You can obviously find it on Spotify or Apple Music. It's a little pop tune that I had written for a little bit, and then I changed the chorus to. So the track's called Wasted. Again, you can find it, like I said, here on Spotify. As I pull this up real quick. And that is me indeed singing. All right, so we got a little preview of the song. So let's hop right into the vocal production. So the chorus vox right here. So forgive me if this stutters for a second. My computer's doing all it can with all these crazy plugins. So let's see if we can get it to play without crackling too much. So you'll notice, even when I press spacebar to stop the track, what are you hearing a lot of? You're hearing a lot of delay and a lot of reverb. So let's strip back the chorus vox and let's see what they sound like just in and of themselves. I'm going to go over just each chain right here. So you'll notice that this one and this one and this one and this one are all pairs. Pairs meaning they are exactly the same waveform, and they might even be treated exactly the same way. I've just doubled up on them, and I've moved them a bit off phase. So you can see here that they're a bit off of where they would be totally lined up together to provide that sort of chorusing, that sort of phasing, to get that kind of nice 80s chorused vocal, which the track is, kind of a new wave type of thing. So let's just dive into one of these waveforms, the main chorus tag here. And of course, I'm terrible and I didn't name any of this stuff. So I'm going to turn off every single plugin I have on it. And additionally, I'm going to tab over to Session View. And you'll see here that I do have it going to a bus. And I have it going to that bus very heavily. It's going to the C bus. And what do we have on the C bus? We have some reverb. So we have just a traditional Ableton reverb with a crazy long 10.7 second delay. So that's where you're getting that super bright shimmer coming across the entire mix. And I have the dry wet set to 55, which I don't know if I really thought that much about that. Then you'll notice the next thing I have here is an EQ. What did I do? I scooped out in that reverb tail all of that mid stuff, that if that reverb channel kind of gets out of control with that super long decay time, it's not going to just muddy up the entire middle of the sound image and, really kind of brutalize the listener. And then on the end of this, I had basically a analog modeled compressor at a 4:1 ratio, kind of squeezing that nice shimmer so that it really sustains out into the next part of the verse to just create almost kind of a pad or almost an instrument with my voice. So let's kind of go back here. So I'm going to go ahead and, which one was that? That was number 13. And I'm going to go ahead and disable that send. So let's just listen to it totally raw.
'Cause I wasted so much time on you.
Not 100% the best recording. The vocal performance is okay for my standards. I sound in key for the most part. But you'll notice, I think right here maybe,
So much.
you can hear some distortion, which a lot of people would say, hey, this is a crappy recording. I got to throw this out. When I do my really kind of closely sheened just process, the other alias I have, not this one, City Rain. I really like to get into the minutia of, perfect microphone, perfect recording process. But one of the things I like about my City Brain project is it's always been kind of very hastily, amateurishly put together, which has a certain endearing charm to it. So never be afraid to have that charm, because I do exercise that here. So let's just get down to the nitty gritty here. First things first, I've got it compressed. So before...
As I wasted.
Boom, there's the presence.
Wasted so much time on you.
So you can see it doing that compression. That's bringing it up in the mix. Next thing I do is I'm getting some treble out of it with this shelving EQ here, this high shelf.
As I wasted.
I then put a limiter after that.
As I wasted.
So now, like I talked about in a podcast, an upcoming podcast I did with Scott for AudioSkills, I love slamming my vocals. I love slamming them real hard and tight and just compressed almost to the point of it being too much. And then I turn it mono, which I believe the signal is already mono, so I don't really think that might actually be doing anything. If I had a reverb channel on here, the reverb would be stereo, and then it would make it mono. So I guess theoretically this mono plugin isn't really doing anything. So, okay, that's that part.
As I wasted.
All right, so now let's solo the other one, the one that I threw off phase a little bit. Let's do something similar. That didn't do anything, and I'm going to disable the send so it's not going to that delay. Now let's listen to them together. So by itself. Sorry. Not together.
As I wasted.
Now that's where most of that vocal sound's coming from. It's simply a double and then throwing it off phase just a little bit. And that's where you get that huge new wave type of sound.
As I wasted.
Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn those sends back on. And this is where we're going to get that huge shimmering vocal.
As I wasted so much time on you.
That's the send. Listen to that compressor holding on to that. Now, that sounds kind of ridiculous by itself. It just sounds crazy washed out, but you put it back in context with the mix.
As I wasted so much time on you.
Then, going forward, I've got these callbacks. And I believe I actually just took those from... I just copied and pasted that. So it's not even a delay. It's actually I just copied and pasted that vocal. I threw it hard right. I did the same for this other one. I threw that hard left. And yes, I threw them off phase. Because if I don't throw them off phase and I hard pan them, they're probably going to phase each other out and not do a true stereo sound. So... together. So now you've got... Then, additionally, you've got one more thing here. And I don't really know how I did this performance today because I was trying this in like the shower the other day. And I guess that's what it was. So check this out. This is my falsetto voice. It sounds like the Bee Gees. But it sounds pretty cool when you put it all together. So let's put it back there. So let's take everything off there and see what that sounds like. Boom, boom, boom. And we'll discuss what those plugins are. It's kind of ridiculous when you listen to it. So sometimes, I get embarrassed by my own voice sometimes too. So much time on you. All right, I guess I can't hit that note. So I took out all the lows and I boosted the highs. Compressed it. Then I threw on this huge reverb. It's a FabFilter Pro R. Just has a slightly different sound than other reverbs. It's not really functionally different than any other reverb, but it just kind of has its own sound. So now, what's cool about it is it has a built-in EQ in the reverb, so I can take away some of those mid frequencies that might get annoying. So when you put all that together,
as I wasted so much time on you.
and it sounds pretty legit. So I also had, that's a sample I found. So let's see if I have anything on the group channel itself. So no, I don't. So if you solo this is what they all sound like.
As I wasted so much time on you.
So when you look at that waveform, you can see that I don't even need a limiter or a compressor on that group channel, which has all the individual vocals on there, because look how under control it is from individual compression on individual vocal channels or instances.
As I wasted.
In theory, I should slap a limiter on there since it's going over 0, but I didn't really hear anything I didn't like. So let me just see if that chokes it or if that sounds good.
As I wasted so much time. As I wasted.
I can live without it. Yeah. That's really kind of my vocal production technique. So when you break it down, it's really not that complicated. It's just kind of some age-old tricks, copying and pasting phrases as call and response, using reverb, offsetting phase, hard stereo pans to get that stereo sound, and using buses for crazy reverb tails to fill in that space in the background. If you're an AudioSkills listener, you may very well listen to the podcast. We talk about some of those techniques in our upcoming podcast with Scott that we recorded today. So we're really excited about that. I'm really excited about this process. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to give me some feedback on other things you'd like to take a look at, or if you want additional clarification on this video and these techniques. I've been Ben Runyan for AudioSkills.com. Check me out at benrunyan.com. That's BenRunyan.com. Take care and go Birds.